So yes, if you so somebody asked about the putting a 50 pip stop or a 20 pip stop to make 10 pips. Yeah, there's I would say about 20% of the tickets have to be like that because the probability of making 10 pips with a 50 pip stop is very high if you have your tickets in a obvious new high or new low. So anytime you're making a new high, um, you are at the threshold of a possible reversal as time marches. You are constantly. Um, so I'm entering on the limit order. So if I buy into a plunge, um, if I pick the slot, the void that I want to attack with my limit orders, woven into this pack, I need to take my 10 pips. But it's not. When people ask that question, it seems like they're talking about a single trade. So I don't think I could ever trade a single ticket again and put all my hopes and dreams into this one girl, right? So I'm kind of trading so many tickets that the ones that get kicked out with a 20 pip stop, I have a 15 pip take profit with a 30 pip stop. So there's just, hopefully, I'm not repeating any of the entries. So every entry is a unique price. Every exit is a unique price. In other words, there's no other tickets getting out at that same price in the perfect system that I run. The only discipline here is that if the robot's not going to drop the tickets in as the market's crashing, so to speak, getting out in front of it with a bunch of uh, absorption area. So I'm just trading an area. So I don't want to try to get the exact turnaround because I know I can't. So if you do a shotgun thing where you're trying to just, okay, I didn't kill anything, but it's wounded here. This is the overall effect. This is the army ant effect. To get so good at trading that you say, well, this is the 618 with the thing to the thing, and I'm going to get in here with 2% of the account risk, and I'm going to have a $10,000 account, so I'm going to risk $2,000, whatever it is, $200, whatever it is, and I'm going to make 500 because I back tested it with a 20 pip stop to make 50 pips. Well, what if it goes to 80 pips with a 30 pip stop? What if the best trade on the chart so happens to be so yeah, when you talk about the hard numbers, so this is what I couldn't get anybody to ever do. I'd have these fights with people about trading, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, well, yeah, but dude, how tight was your stop on that fucking thing? Like, you mean to tell me you had one idea, and you're like, yeah, I got this one idea for this restaurant. Well, you better have 10 ideas because 8 of those ideas are going to be fucking illegal. There's so many fucking regulations. Hopefully they get rid of that shit. But there's so much fucking barriers to like, oh, well, you can't do that because I was going to do this thing where I made these cookies, and they said, well, you got to have, if you're going to make cookies at home, you normally poison yourself, so we don't want you to poison the public. So you have to have a segregated place that you're going to, oh, really? I mean, I can't just mix it with the fecal matter like I normally do in the morning? Okay. So I just, it's the regulation, right? So you may have the best idea on the planet. Well, here is the only place I know where you can launch your own ideas without any regulation. So and that's why Bitcoin is 100,000, because the vacuum formed for people to pour into something that was not on an exchange. It's on an exchange in their mind. Okay, so Bitcoin's being held through the minds of everybody's belief that it's worth X. And the sustaining element at price is enough participation at a certain price creates a range that people find acceptable. So that's why markets, for 80% of the time, markets tread water in a range. They rarely go anywhere. Now people will say, well, but no, look at the trend. Yeah, but you smoothed out every fucking zigzag to the point of like, yeah, well, yeah, of course. Duh, right? But who is sitting in a position where they're up 10 grand, they're down 10 grand? Now, I've seen people do it. And there was ICT did a video where he's like, I'm like, dude, you're up 2 grand, just get the fuck out. Like, just rinse and repeat. Like, in other words, who's the better trader? The guy that's nimble? They say, well, you know what? Just take the trade off. We're up so fucking big. We know that the market. So if you accept the fact that the market does not move in a straight line, and all you need to do is put up a line chart by the hour, which is what all these are, the line chart by the hour through a box of time of the 8-hour-ish block by that rectangle on the screen. So what more do you need to know? Yeah, the market's just going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah, overall it's going down, but like seriously. So, but the guy that's asking about the stop thing, I do think most of these questions come from a place of, oh, maybe I got 3 tickets at the most going on. There's nobody trading this many tickets. I've yet to see it unless a robot's doing it. I found this robot I was running, actually. It's pretty amazing results. It's called the Grid. It's a grid system. It's great on the Euro, like most robots. The Grid machine, it's free. But the Grid machine was doing very good. Very high risk machine, but wow, makes a fucking lot of money, and it's got some great money management in there. So I don't have that. My system is just hand placed stuff. So I'm saying, well, I could put them in by hand. I could double click it. The market orders are going to definitely be waiting for the tipping point. So you're coming into U.S. market open. You're like, oh man, we're below the Asian lows. Let's load the wagon. Or we're above, let's sell the wagon at the top. So if you're able to sell, if you're able to sell as easy as you can buy, they say that is the goal, but I think that I favor the buy because I'm lazy. I've written too many buy orders. And so over here I got 18 pip stops to make 28 pips. I got 22 pip stops to make 44. Now when the market starts to really, if you look at the tick chart, you can watch it just get bombastically insane. I kind of want to have enough dry powder to add on to the position a little bit. Hopefully, and most conservatively, the limit order is the ultimate conservative entry because you're putting a limit, you're creating your own auction by saying, this guy's talking about the 20 pip stop. Well, the only time that in a limit situation that you're going to even get into the trade, the ticket, is because the market came to your price within 2 hours or whatever you set the expiration. The market had to drop. If it doesn't get there in the next day, I don't really go past the 12 hours on my tickets. So if I'm really not going to come back to the computer, I'll put a 12-hour expiration. So when the yen fell out of bed here, I don't know, there's some news came out on the yen here. So the yen is pretty brutal. A lot of people aren't ready for that kind of volatility on the yen. The euro to the dollar on the left here is pretty calm. It's pretty tame. It's pretty boring, although you have to trade really big here to make the same amount of money you'd make here. And talking about the 10 pip stop or the 10 pip take profit, that happens very often on the yen. So it's a whole different thing. Pip wise. I mean, if you pip for pip, it's like this, right? So the volatility over here is just insane. This is euro to the yen on the right, euro to dollar, or dollar yen, euro yen. The guppy's a little bit, the spread's too wide, so I won't bother with that. But if the trade is, and this is the typical trade for me, is I'm going to buy everything below here, right? And as soon as it comes down, this is my first, this is 20, 30, 40, 50 pips. 20, 30, 40, 50 pips over and over again. So I'm range trading that. 80% of the time it's doing this. And 20% of the time it's doing this. Hard down, chop, 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 chop. Hard down, chop, chop. If you're going to wait and you have the patience, this is like 1 day bounce, hard down 1 day, and then cash out up here again. And as soon as I cash out here, I come back with the limits to buy all over again. So if I'm getting out of this one, I'm sure people are selling up there, and they're looking to take profits, 20 pips here, 30, 40, 50 pips. I'm going to start buying here and really buy here. And then these tickets, I would put the same racks in. So here's my stop. This is just like a 10K every pip. Okay, that's a 10K. And here's a stop. And take profit. Might be just a little bit better than break even, but just imagine a column of tickets. So as soon as this plunges below here, you buy, you're out, right? It's a high probability situation. I mean, if you come, look how many times you come smashing to here and back and forth. So within this, sure, you could buy 10K all the way down when it retraces dump, but right after you cash out the first bottom of these tickets, you can also refresh it again, and it's happening all over again. It just keeps trading sideways and slightly going up. You know, the beautiful breakout of this triangle here. Oh, I got in here. Oh, that's great. Yeah, let your profits run. I just can't do it, you know. I know there's sellers above here, so I'm getting the hell out. Then I put in my limits again, and I let it come drifting back. If it's really going up, it's got to come back before it goes up. If it's really going down, it has to go up before it goes down. So the trend trader says, well, let me take advantage of the biggest move, and I won't counter trend trade it, even though to take your 10 pips off the table with a 20 pip stop as it turns the corner, yeah, you have to have that customer that comes in, he just buys enough stuff so you can clean out your inventory and order new shit, because the shipping cost or the spread every time you order a pallet of 1,000, so you don't want to keep ordering like 10 at a time, right, and him FedEx to you. So you want to get a nice chunk, right, and then you go through that. Then you get a chunk and you go through that. I don't think the market's any different, because once it piles into a price zone, they're like, well, that fucking sale's over. Wow, they beat the shit out of that. I mean, the people that are so... I know people that are saying to me, friends of mine that don't even trade, they're like, yeah, I'm thinking about buying Bitcoin. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Does it mean we're going to go into 50 grand from 100 grand of Bitcoin? I mean, these kind of things, it's almost a classic fundamental indicator is if your mom's like, yeah, honey, we're thinking about buying Bitcoin. Your dad and I think it's a good idea. We just want to run it by you. You got these zigzags on your screen and shit. You pay attention. What do you think about that trade? So, just put a limit at 75 grand on that Bitcoin and trade a bounce off of that. Wait about 5 months for that to fill. Oh, gosh, take a look at this grid machine, though. I'm pretty fascinated. I think it's doing pretty good, actually. Last test I ran on it. I just want to do it for the template aspect here. Let's see, 30-minute chart. It seemed to work good on the 1 hour chart. The half hour, the 1 hour seems to be the best. We go way back in time. At least go back a year. Give it a fighting chance. Let's do the visual mode here. Use my favorite template. Let's see, this does pretty good, actually. Grid machine. So this one will trade different sizes depending. Okay, I'm just going to use it for the visual template of it all. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, just imagine a typical day. This is the 1 hour chart. Getting ready for the next, get enough data on here. So it's going to be like this for me. Put some limits in here, down at the bottom of the previous day, just in case. Okay, so definitely want to put some orders here and some here. So carry that forward. That's going to be my buy window. And inside there can be some 10 pip take profits. I could have bought that one too. That would have had a 10 pip winner in it. So we already cashed out of the 10 pipper because it could drop now. It could drop really hard still. If you're going to trade the trap of the Asian breakout, you just went short there. So I just don't think it matters which trade you take. And these kind of just, I don't think they have a direction on this. Although it looks like it's starting to want to go up. And people would say that. So kind of wants to go up. Bunch of sellers up here. Big sellers above all these monster sellers up there. But I'm just not going to wait for that. Okay, we bought again. Now we're long, cashing out. Sellers are coming in. You could have sold that. It would have been up 10 pips right now. 20, 30. Okay, that trade's over. Let's start putting the buy limits in here now. So back and forth. It's just a real, I guess it's work. It's good work. It's happy. It's joyful work. So you just nicked the European session there. Great time to get in. U.S. markets are open. Looks like it's going to spill down now. So I got my big tickets down here to buy. The guys that are short up here are like, yeah, I love that. It's 40 pips all the way back to starting gate. Okay, here comes Asia. I think we're going to come down here. Typically, if we're this close to the edge, we'll come down here. So I got buy tickets piling up here right now. So obviously going to sell above that. But we're still waiting for the fill on the buy limits. Big buyers down here. So really tremendous buying here. Okay, we just got filled on our first ticket. I think it's going to plunge a little bit. When U.S. markets open, we'd probably be taking out maybe this low. It'd be crazy. Okay, we're scooping up a couple here. Trying to make those first 10 pips. Yeah, those 10 pips, it matters. So there's 10, 20, 15 there if you're buying these new lows. And then you have to put buy limits here now. So no market orders unless you want to pull the trigger here and say, oh yeah, like a close below that. Definitely a couple of market orders here. I'd be cashing out of that. Okay, now it looks like sells above here. Big buys coming back into the buys. Okay, now we're getting filled on those tickets. If we didn't delete those, they're getting filled. Yeah, that's my favorite trade now. Now it does look like they're going to crush it. Possibly. No, so you made the 10, you made the 15. Yeah, it looks like it's going to tank. This looks like a Friday. There you go. So big monster fills now. Now you're buying up quite a bit into the close. It looks like a Friday. Just buy, buy, buy. So this is where it's no-brainer shit. It could still go lower. So I don't, I definitely, here's 20 pips off of that floor. So 20 pip target to this last known low, and then now I'm going to start running limits in here all over again. I think it's going to take out the low of the previous day. Yeah, so the trend trader is going to be like, oh, I sold here, I sold here. Every time it rallied, I sold. It went to my trend line. I'm short. So now I'm buying. My limits are getting filled. I got more buy limits here. So I want the market to come below here, fill all these tickets up for the swing trade. So the one that have a 100 pips stop to make 200 pips, if that's integrated into this pile, I'm usually not going to go past the 100 pips target. So 50 to make 100. That's like my, I was running 75 pips to make 200 pips, but this is on the yen. So this is the euro dollar. You really don't need that kind of. All right, so big buying position starting to get filled here. Looks like we're going to go down again. But the cash shot was already when it came slamming back to here. Okay, now big buy. Grid machine's even getting involved here. Look at that. The grid machine got triggered finally. The grid machine does pretty good. He's buying like 1, 2, 3. He's buying a. It's really good. I like that. 3 lots. Jesus. 0.6. Geez, I want to see what he's doing. So this is the trade, right? Cash out in Asia, go flat. Now the buy limits begin again. So that's the tail. That's how it goes. It's pretty boring. You can 10 pip on some of the tickets because the probability of making 10 pips is higher than making 100. 80% of the time you can make your 10 pips. It's when it goes into the trend mode, yeah, if you have a 50 pip to make 10, but like I said, it's not 2%, it's 0.001% of the account per trade, per trading idea. I'm going to fast. I got to see what this robot's doing. You got to see the performance of this thing. This grid machine, although, gosh, it's just barely taking a trade here. See, it just keeps tanking into my buys. Look at this. Now to the left of this, God knows we might be going into a 3-year low. See, look at that. So those are the days, right? I'm getting a big size going just because of the market crashing. And my target's always going to be, first target's going to be last known day's low. And then this is the next target, but always ready to buy more there on the plunge. And we could still take this out. So I got tickets sitting below there into the next day. Right, into the next day. Because it could just plop right down here at the close. And when Asia, it can drift down a little bit lower. There's so much momentum to the downside. So these are the big swing trades. This is definitely a peak sell-off moment. Now when Asia comes here, we could take out the low of the previous day. It's not that hard. It's not that far away. So it looks like the bottom, but we probably are going to at least go into a 10 to 20 pips sell-off here. But the trend traders are just holding this thing, for 5 days. I just can't imagine that. So I've been buying everything below that. And we didn't take this out. So you don't always take this low out, but there's still U.S. markets to open. So you could come down here. But in the meantime, these happen to be the winners, the ones with the 60 pip stops, the 45 pip stops. And here comes U.S. We could smash into this. Now we could overtake the next day, come up into here. I'd definitely be cashing out. So I'm almost out of this position now. That's the bottom of the swing. Now, how far do we go north? And if you bet the ranch below this one, that's the break even. You're up like 10 pips on that. So I dumped the whole thing, which like most people did there. You could see as soon as the market opened in U.S. markets, they reconciled the statement here. And there you go. It's probably come up into here a little bit. Put settlements up here. Now it's obvious the buy limit's down here all over again. Rinse and repeat. I'm going to buy here. Tons of tickets here to sell, buy down there, sell up here. Big sells up in this. Oh, got filled on the buys though, so. Really want to buy a lot. Coming back to the starting gate now. I'm going to buy quite a bit now here. So yeah, it's just back and forth. I mean, not every trade's going to be a 100 pip winner. So yeah, the 10, the 15, the 20 pip targets are really going to be the bread and butter. That's how you pay the rent, is the customer that's just going to buy like the middle of the road thing, you know. The fair value item. Okay, sells up there. Nice scalp. 10, 20 pip scalp. Buy sitting down here now. Okay, let's see how this guy traded overall. I'm going to fast forward the equity. This grid machine, it's cracking me up how good it does. It's just very good. Skip to the end. Look at this grid machine, it just kills it. It does. It's one of the few grid machines at the end. It might blow it up, but I got it so most times. That was a big drawdown there. So it was a $2,000 drawdown. But look how this thing doubles up and finishes with money. Actually, most of the tests I've done, the half-hour chart almost does a little bit better. Okay, so this big giant win here, it cashed out on the tickets perfectly. Like it got in really big and then it just dumped it. That's very impressive. It's the grid machine. It's free. Some guy, you know, so I test a lot of these grid systems because they're really non-directional. I think this one has a component of directionality in it, maybe. But look at this thing, double the account. Now at the end, a lot of these things will destroy themselves because they built up a giant hedge that unravels at the end. But this one actually finishes with money sometimes. Now here, it has to really fall apart and go into a severe drawdown. It doesn't seem to be trading as big as it did initially, so whatever the logic is for the sizing. Here, it could crash here at the end. Oh, see now it made a nice chunk up, nice $3,000 there. That's pretty good, not bad, I must say. And look at the size it's getting out of. It's unloading these giant positions. Probably the best free robot I've ever seen. I really should unleash it in real time here. This is the settings it came with. I didn't change the settings. It's trading both directions. That's a 1 hour chart. It's hilarious. But yeah, I can't imagine trying to guess what the market's going to do to the precise price. It just seems like the grid system is the way to trade the market without, you know, it's the crudest system in the world. It's not using neural nets and reading the headlines and AI bullshit. AI, Jesus Christ, come on, people. Can't anybody see the flaw in that shit? It's so obvious. They're already having problems with the electric cars catching on fire. No, not again. And this is like a 1 year back test, but some of these drawdowns would blow up the account if, you know, if all things being equal. But yeah, this is one of the best I've seen, honestly, for free. Free being the best price in the world is free. It doesn't cost anything to smile. Oh, see, now it's getting destroyed here at the end. Oh, but it redeems itself. So right at the end there, it's very possible. Yeah, hello. Yeah, it's very possible that you could have blown up the account, right? But this actually finishes with the fucking up like triple. Not bad. Not bad. The Groove machine. It does fall apart on the 15 though. I think if you take it down the 15-minute chart, it just kind of gets whipsawed. But if anything can trade on the 15, you got to figure, it's doing pretty good. Here's the same data, same trade, but on the 15-minute chart. Might actually do better. I don't know. It may not have as big a harsh a drawdown. Oh, see, it blows it up. It's not. It just closed out with $800. See, it wasn't on the 4-hour chart. I think it was not. It's just too whipsawed. There's not enough data. Let's try the 4-hour chart. Yeah, these things. Because the MACD bot, no way does it even come close. So this 4-hour chart might be a little too chunky. Certainly less trades, I gotta believe. Uh-oh. It crashed it. No. I'm surprised it takes that long for this thing to... it's like it doesn't matter how fast the computer you have. It seems to take forever to... I have it on just crunch the number mode. Yeah. Not as many trades. It's rifling through it. I guess we're halfway through the test. Yeah. It's not enough trading for me. So it's barely trading because 4-hour chart. Huh. Anyways, that looks like it's going to take forever. Or maybe it's done. If it says start. Still going. Oh my God. Here we go. So this is that big leap in equity that you saw on the 1-hour chart. It's not bad. And that drawdown just at the end. So I think if you ran one on the 4-hour and run one on the 1-hour, I would definitely run multiple time frames and change the settings around. I don't know what the settings are at. It does pretty good though. Let's see what they give you for the properties. Oh, it's got a lot of shit in here, so I never really looked at the settings quite a bit. Guess the magic number, you want to change that. Huh. Yeah, this multiplier. Take profit. I mess with these numbers and then have like an aggressive version. I would still babysit this thing. I mean, if it's gonna, if I look at the machine, what it's doing, and I think, wow, that's a pretty good trade, let it do its thing, and then, yeah, I think I should try this robot. Let it churn away. Just a couple of them. The 1-hour, and the 4-hour. Now that I would back test that to see, okay, half-hour and the 1-hour bot, which one does the best? Change the settings a little bit. Run like 4 different versions of it. It's all the same logic, and yeah, just turn the numbers down so it's not allowed to trade too big. certainly run on the demo first, but the um, real money, I'd probably turn it down a little bit if you're adverse to drawdowns. But if you do the math, you know that it can only lose so much a day. If you put a 50 pip stop to make 10 pips, you know you're going to risk $5 to make a buck. But you could tell anybody that's buying lottery tickets, if you could get a scratch and win and be right 80% of the time, be like, yeah, dude, I just bought a $1 ticket and I just made $2. Or about a $5 ticket and I've made back a buck. I can go and buy another ticket for a buck and make back. So the inventory, you just got to get out of this trades. So instead of getting stopped out of a trade, you could take a profit on some dead cat bounce when the market gets crazy like that. Certainly if you put in all your tickets with a bad ratio, then you might as well just forget trading with a stop and just sit there and babysit the market and try to get really good little moves out of it. But that's the long and short of it, as they say. Yeah, I don't know. That it looks like Christmas is going to be. People are going to go back to living their lives now. They don't have to worry about fucking cutting their dick off to go buy a mask at the store. Get fully unvaccinated. It's like getting that tattoo taken off, I think. You use the different color ink and you just go on top of it and just change the phrase from Hitler to, what, Jesus or something like that. Of course, Jesus was a dictator, right? He was telling people, no, man, this is the fucking word of God. Like, I got the inside track. Listen to me. I'm the Wizard of Oz. I'm the only one that knows. Yeah, I can't wait to unleash the grid machine here. See how it does. I probably get very impatient with it and be like, is it even working? When's it going to put a trade on? Whereas I'm sure I can out trade the grid machine. Maybe not by sheer, like the grid machine has no emotions, so it could probably out trade me. But my anger trades will outperform the grid machine. I double down on the market going against me. So I go for the contrarian approach. Always trade in the reversal. That's my favorite style is the reversal.